Hello, and welcome to my episode. Well, it's not an episode review anymore. It's my series review of the overall series that is Series 1 of Primeval, as well as my episode ranking. I'll do my review at the end, but get on with the ranking. Wow, I can't believe I finished it. It's a great start to the series. Like, the whole series is a great start to the franchise that is Primeval, and a really strong series, in my opinion. So it's quite hard to rank them, but hopefully I've got it right. If you disagree, comment below. But this is my personal opinion. Um, I would say they're all really strong episodes. I just want to point this out. This is why it's so hard. Future series, it gets quite easy to rank them. So none of these are at all bad episodes. But in terms of viewing, this is how I rank them. Okay. My least, um, like the lowest for me personally, is episode 2. And the reason for this is it's just got quite a slow start. I really, really like episode 2, don't get me wrong. But yeah, there's lots of it's quite slow at the start, but when the action kicks in, it really kicks in. And the way I'm going to be ranking these is the overall episode, which I gave 6.5 out of 10 for this one. The setting, which I haven't really talked about, but I'm going to talk about it now. Like the setting for each episode, like, and does it match with the creature and the creatures for the episode? I give 10 out of 10 for the creatures and 10 out of 10 for the setting because the London Underground's really creepy. Lots of people go there. Really gives a vibe and feel for the overall kind of like tells you straight like early on, this is what Primeval is. If you don't like it, stop watching. If you like it, come with us on this epic journey, and it really sets that tone. The creatures are the Arthropluera and the spiders. I thought that was really nice to have. Obviously, spiders, people are scared of them, but really nice to have like unknown creatures. Like, yeah, they're big, over-exaggerated bugs, but they could have easily put a T-Rex in this episode to draw in the viewers, but they didn't, and I thought that was a really good risk, and it really paid off. Great development from all the characters. Um, look, the subplot with Connor and Abby at the beginning, just a bit boring for me personally. First time watching it, it's okay, but on second viewings, it's not that great. So yeah, I haven't really got much to say about this episode, but apart from that, it's good for what it is, but compared to the other episodes that are quite strong, I feel they're not as good, if that makes sense. Okay, so for my fifth spot in my viewing, I would have to say, unfortunately, episode 1. And as much as I love episode 1, it's one of my favourites of all time. For me, it's setting up the series, it's introducing these characters, and it does a perfect job for that. The setting of the Forest of Dean, I'd probably give not a 10 out of 10, probably an 8 out of 10. Because it's nice, because if you ever go in the woods, like now I'm always like, oh, there might be an anomaly. Obviously, there's not. But yeah, it's a nice creepy set in the woods, like the estate that Ben lives on. Yeah, Ben. The school, it hasn't really got a fixed setting. It kind of moves, but it's all centered around the Forest of Dean. So I can't really rank it like greatly on that. The creatures I'd definitely give 10 out of 10. Gorgonopsid is awesome. Scootosaurus is awesome. Rex he's the mascot of the team, and he's one of the most iconic creatures. Really like the way it kind of slowly introduces everyone. It's more of a character piece, as Mr. TARDIS 11, subscribe to him because he's awesome. We were talking about it, and we agree that it's more of a character piece than a actual creature story. So yeah, I really like this one. I love the introductions of all the characters. They each get their own. Like, no one feels like they're overshadowed, if that makes sense. Apart from Ryan, he hasn't got that much to do. But actually, thinking about it, he's got more to do than he has in any other episode. So I really like this one. My episode 3 of the rankings, so what takes third place for me. Oh, this is a hard one. And I know this is probably going to cause a bit of controversy, considering I gave it 10 out of 10, but I'm going to have to say episode 4. And yes, I know that this is a bit weird, considering I give it 10 out of 10. There's other tongue twister, other episodes that I didn't give a high rating of, or a lower rating, but it's a bloody like fantastic episode on its own, like a great standalone episode. Even though it does have plots of Helen going through the anomaly, Connor kind of finding his place, the whole loss of Tom, which is handled superbly. I give that the whole episode is 10 out of 10. But in creature aspects, it doesn't. It has the dodos, which are cute and like, oh, it's adorable. And then it's got the parasite, and for me, the parasite's obviously it's the main creature of the episode. It's my personal. I find it's one of those creatures that through like a series of Primeval, we've got them in each series. They're the creepy. Like yeah, we've had the big bugs in episode 2, but this is a different type of creepy. It's psychological. It goes in your head. It like eats your brain and lays eggs in you. And Tom, the actor, I can't remember his name. Comment below if you know the actor's name of the guy who plays Tom. Really handles it well. It's a really great character piece again. Like there's no dinosaur, or big bug, or flying lizard, or swimming lizard that's trying to kill everyone. It's a human, and the team have to kind of act on. This isn't a person anymore, but he's still off. Like Connor's like he's still my friend, so we can't just kill him like we would with any other creature. So it's a really great dynamic. The setting doesn't really have a setting again. It's kind of all over the place. Like the dodos are in the one, like I think it's Wembley Arena. They're kind of in the canteen, which again I quite like that. For that part, I'd give it like 6 out of 10 for the setting. But then the rest is just all over the place. So I'd probably give that overall 7 out of 10 for setting. Creatures, 10 out of 10 again because the parasite. I love the way they introduce a dodo, which everyone's like, oh, it's stupid, fat, it's cute. But it's kind of like the irony of it's the most thought of creature in like terms of extinction. It's like kind of become a joke of itself, but now it's like the bringer of death to the team. It kills Tom essentially with the parasite. But I do really like this episode, but it's got a lot of false starts, which I do really like. So it's not one of those false starts you're like, oh, that could have been. Oh, I've actually preferred the first start. It gives the full starts, but it's worth it. But for me, the other episodes, I feel more. Like, I enjoy the other ones more, if that makes sense. But I do really like this episode. For the fourth place in my ranking, I'd have to give episode 3, which is the episode with the mosasaur. I gave this 9.5 out of 10, so it's a really great episode. It's where stuff really starts kicking in. Helen's first conversation with Nick after all these years. Lester's got more involvement. Really strong episode. The temporal fault lines are introduced, even though they're never mentioned again apart from briefly in episode 6. I really like this episode. It's one of the most enjoyable, I feel. Like, in terms of CGI for the creature, 10 out of 10. It's the best CGI. Like, yeah, episode 5 and 6, they kind of go back to the good CGI, but I don't know, it just feels a more realistic creature, the mosasaur. Creatures again, 10 out of 10, and the I can't pronounce it, Hesperornis, the bird thing. I really like that. It's really creepy. How it just like sits and attacks, looms in the dark and attacks a plumber. So yeah, really great story. The setting is in the canal, kind of rivers, then someone's house. I found that really creepy, how it's in someone's house. Like these things that can go anywhere, they can travel anywhere. You can't run away, you've just got to deal with it. Great character development. Claudia gets... This episode features more Helen towards the end. It's more of a Helen, Cutter. The whole aspect of that's introduced properly. Claudia and Cutter, like Claudia's kind of pushed to her limits. It's the first time she kind of disagrees with Cutter. So it's a great character piece, great tension. It moves the series onwards, adds more mystery. You want to keep watching for the next episode. The great cliffhanger. You see how twisted and evil Helen can be, how manipulative. So it really sets the pacing of the series. I think it's a strong point. For my 5th spot is episode 5. I know this episode can be seen as filler and it doesn't really add much plot-wise, but the Claudia and Cutter, I can't say it today, my tongue's all twisted. Claudia and Cutter, it's basically a Claudia and Cutter episode, apart from more towards the end than the beginning. It's kind of all starting to set. It's like kind of setting up the finale. it really does help. I think with the like episode 4 is a really dramatic episode. Episode 5 is kind of a lighter episode with the Rex escaping, the jokes of that. Then we kick into so lots of twists and turns in this one again. Helen's back, which is why I think it deserves this spot. It's very underrated in my opinion. I really like the creatures and the setting. The setting of the manor house and the golf course, I think that's really nice. It's kind of not just grimy parts of London and everyday kind of stuff. It's like it can be anywhere. These things can like go to manor houses, hotels. I think it was a manor house hotel and the golf course. I thought that was really nice. The anomaly in the sky, that's a whole different thing. I thought that was really nice, actually having the anomalies in the sky. Like they're not just on land. We've seen them in the sea. So the setting I'd give 10 out of 10 again. The creature is the first time I feel attached to a creature, if that makes sense. I kind of feel sorry for the pterodon because it's accused of murder. They're going to kill it. Cutter saves it on a hunch, which causes Claudia to kind of again disagree with him. It causes tension between their relationship, and it kind of sets up the finale. There's a great kiss, and yeah, this episode for me personally is like one of the most enjoyable to watch. Just if you just want to watch an episode from series 1, not really watch the whole series, watch episode 5. It's a great character piece. Again, it's quite a hard job to follow from episode 4 because that was the strongest, in my opinion, of the series at this point. And episode 5 does a good job to kind of live up to that. It might not live up to it in like character like in terms of series, because the great music of Tom Dies, that I forgot to mention that when I was ranking it. Tom Dies for me, that's what makes it 10 out of 10. Just how like emotional everything it is, and everything just kind of comes onto its own. Like the music's great, the acting's great, the actors are really getting used to their characters. They're starting to go further with them. And yeah, so episode 5, I gave it 9.5 out of 10. It's my second favourite, which obviously leaves the top number 1 spot of my series 1 ranking, and that is episode 6, the finale. This for me is really underrated again in terms of series in general. Of all the episodes, this one I feel is just wow. I watched it yesterday for the first time in about 3 months, and it felt fresh and new and exciting. Great, everyone, all the actors, all the characters, they really try their best here, and it really pays off. Like everyone gets, like all their characters kind of get, I don't know how to explain it. They all get what they deserve. They all get their fair share of screen time. No one feels like they've overshadowed, even though they could have easily have made it like a Nick Cutter episode. He is the main character, and he does get a lot more scenes than the others, but it doesn't feel that way. Everyone kind of, all the subplots that have been building up through the series, they almost become one, and it's a great game changer because this is the first time the future anomalies and future creatures are introduced, which sets open a whole can of worms, a whole other new can of worms. And yeah, it links back to episode 1, which I think is really nice. It's where it's kind of becomes full circle, and they could have easily cut the series off here, but the great cliffhanger of Claudia Brown's disappearance, that didn't even need to have happened. They could have easily left that out. It wasn't like predictable at all. It was kind of like a what the fuck moment. And just for that premises alone, it deserves 10 out of 10, I feel, just because like it deserves to be top spot even, just because of that, like how the series just, it's been leading to this, the paradox with the team, the baby future predators that survived, Helen's affair with Stevens revealed, which is a kind of, that's kind of out of nowhere, but as you look back you're like, oh, it makes sense. Abby kind of does that as well in the episode. She's like, oh, it makes sense. Great overall, like comes full circle, I feel. And like the build up for series 2, like I remember the wait for it. I was like, oh, we need series 2. Like I was just dying for it to come on, because that giant cliffhanger, you're like, what the hell is going on? That's a curveball. The setting, again, the zoo, and linking back to episode 1, 10 out of 10. I just really like the way it links back to where we started. I think it would have been great if in like episode 6 of series 5 kind of went back to we started as it's supposed to be the end of Primeval, but it doesn't matter. Go on to that when we review Series 5. But I really like how it links back to the beginning. So, and I love the creature as well, the Future Predator. Oh my god, the most iconic, apart from Rex and the Raptor, of the whole of the Primeval franchise. It's its own thing. Unlike the other creatures, they could have easily put T-Rex again or Raptor here as an ironic, iconic creature like T-Rex. No dinosaurs have been in this series. Like, that's the thing I love about the overall of Primeval. No dinosaurs are in it, but we'll get onto that in a minute. Yeah, I love how the future predators, they're so alien-like, and they do look like they're from the future, but yet they look realistic. Like, the CGI is awesome. The great epic scene at the end with the Gorgonopsid fighting the future predator, love that. Yeah, and I'm so glad that they came back, the future predator. They're kind of they're like kind of like a villain. Like, I don't feel that with any of the other creatures. Like, the other creatures, I kind of feel like they're just stuck in our time. They don't. It's not their fault. Like the Pterodon, I felt really sorry for that because like it was accused. It wasn't its fault. With the future predators, I feel like there's an evil to them. Like I feel like they are evil. They're not creatures. They're kind of, I don't know. It just feels, they don't feel like creatures in that sense. That's what I love about them. Yeah, Tom dies, which is not Tom. Ryan dies, which is really sad, and really well acted as well. It's not like over dramatic. It's not really given that much. Like, they could have dragged the scene out where it's like a big farewell to Tom, to Ryan, but they don't. It's just like that body we saw before. It was me, wasn't it? And Cutter's just kind of speechless, and that's it. And he dies really like undramatic, which I think adds to the drama. So yeah, I'd give that. That's my top spot. And overall, the series is my series ranking. I feel like my overall review of the series now, I give it 10 out of 10. One of the strongest series of all the series of Primeval. The great thing about it is how they don't use dinosaurs every week. The characters are fresh, they're new, they're realistic. So yeah, thank you for watching all of my Series 1 reviews. I'll be starting Series 2 soon. Comment below if you disagree with me. And yeah, give it a like, please. Give it a subscribe to me if you want to. Just, I hope that you've had fun watching me review them, as I've done. I've had lots of fun doing this, and I've really enjoyed it. So thank you. And yeah, have a nice day.